There, for the first time, Tulim lived with true men. Only the favored were allowed in the seclusion, and learned manly things, how to hunt and fight and sing a war song. With his long-legged good looks and his sharp wits, he also, for the first time, came to the attention of the men of the Orchard Palace, including, most surprisingly, his own father. Most of Parnard's sons hoped to remain unnoticed by their father. True, one of them would one day become his heir, but the Autarch was a vigorous, powerful man in his 50s, so that day was far away, and Xisian heirs had a way of suffering accidents. Parnard himself had found a few of his sons too popular with the soldiers or the common people. One such young man had been the sole casualty of a battle with pirates in the Western Islands. Another had died, purple and choking, after apparently being bitten by a snake in the Yenados Mountains in midwinter, a most unusual season for snake bites. Thus, none of the other princes felt too jealous when their father noticed Tulim and began to speak to him occasionally. "Who was your mother?" Parnard asked him the first time. The Autarch was a big man, tall, but also broad as an old crocodile. It was strange for Tulim to think that this heavy-set man with his thick beard was the source of his own slender limbs. "Ah, yes, I remember her. Like a cat she was. You have her eyes." Tulim wasn't sure whether this way of talking meant his mother was no longer alive, but he did not want to ask, which might seem sentimental and womanish. If he had inherited her eyes, though, she must have been exceptional indeed, for that was the thing that people noticed first about Tulim, the strange golden eyes, like holes filled with molten metal. It was one of the reasons he had long known he was not like any of the others. That same bright, all-devouring flame did not burn within his brothers or the other children as it did in him. He and his father, the Autarch, had other conversations, although Tulim never said much, and after a while Tulim was taken from the sleeping room he shared with several of the other young princes and given his own room, where the Autarch could visit him at whatever time of the day or night he thought best, without disturbing Tulim's brothers. Parnard also began to perform various odd cruelties and unwholesome practices on him, all the while explaining to him about the terrifying responsibility of being the Bishak, the chief of the Falcon line that had come out of the desert to trample down the thrones of the world's cities. "The gods hold us dear," Parnard would explain as he held Tulim's mouth closed, silencing his cries of pain. "It is given by them that the falcon soars higher than any other, that he can look down on all creation. The very sun itself is only the great falcon's eye." Tulim could not always make sense of what his father said, but as a whole the lessons, coupled with the pain and other strange feelings, made it clear that the way of the flame and the way of the falcon were more or less the same. Everything belongs to the man who can reach and grasp without fear. That man the gods love. Still, although the visits went on for years, Prince Tulim made a vow the first night that he would kill his father one day. It was not so much the pain that had to be revenged as the helplessness. The flame should never be smothered by the shadow of another, not even the Autarch himself. As he approached the age at which boyhood would be set aside and manhood put on like a new garment, Tulim began to spend time with another grown man, this one much more deferential toward his feelings. It was the man he called Uncle Gorhan, one of the Autarch's older half-brothers. Gorhan had been sired by Parnard's father on a woman of extremely common blood, and so was no threat to take the throne. He had used this sullied nobility to his advantage, becoming one of the Autarch's most trusted counselors, a man of stories.